Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, please, no flash photography. This is episode 76 of Those Muckrakers. I'm Pete.
And I'm Pat.
And, yeah, it's been interesting. We were just talking about I went and got a massage and did yoga with old people, and it was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. So Peter walked in, and they were like, "So, well, sir, we need for you to undress to your level of comfort." And he was like, "Okay, I will be right back with the coat."
Yeah, I put on a top hat and a scarf.
All right, good to go now.
Socks. What was fun about the yoga today was I didn't do crazy yoga. Like the other day I did hot yoga, which I don't know. It's like the way you like to play Mega Man, you know, like on ultra hard.
Yar.
Yeah, it's like yoga in a 95 degree
So you ran
room,
in, and instantly the disappearing blocks began to appear.
Yeah, I pretty much just do, anytime I take on a new exercise routine, I just go, Leroy Jenkins, and just do the most difficult thing I can do and get myself hurt.
You just run in there, and all of the 18-year-old pros like start following you around like whelps, biting at you. Da! Left side! Right side! Everyone's in better shape than me! Handle it!
But slower, regular yoga, I was in there with a bunch of old ladies who, by the way, old ladies are fucking delightful.
They are. They're all like, "Oh, I know you. You look
I
just
walk
like
in
my
and this one old lady's in the
grandson.
middle of a rant. She goes, "Men are so complicated."
Here's a peppermint."
And I was
Men are
going to say
complicated?
something. Yeah, and I was going to say something, but then
guess.
I go, she's like 70 years old. She probably knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, men are complicated if you take into account like the circulatory system, the how the lungs process oxygen into your blood, all the synapses in the human brain in order just to be able to function. All that's very complicated.
I don't
There's
know.
nothing to do with how they behave, which is probably what she's talking about. But I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, I'm going to say...
The human organism is very complicated.
Who do you think has dealt with more dicks in their time? This old lady or you?
I mean, I haven't been keeping count, so...
But yeah, she's probably right. But they were like super nice. It wasn't like the other day when I was in there with like the guy I called Mr. Yoga. I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Like she'd give us the pose and be like, and if you want to add some extra things, you can do this. And I look over, this dude standing on his head, you know, like balls in his own mouth. And I'm like, that's unnecessary, buddy. We're just doing warm-ups.
Yeah, this is just me doing my warm-ups here. I'm gonna take my arms off and fashion them into a kayak and then sail across the room. How are you doing that?
He just like looked at me and then popped his shirt off, and I knew that I was not in a good...
Like Hulk Hogan. Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah, like-
Macho Man, but you know what I mean.
He's like, check this out. And then I'm just like, so the old ladies were nice. They were like, how are you? I haven't seen you before. And I'm like, I'm new in town.
Have a sherbet.
So I wanted to start this off today with, I'm going to steal your thing. My That's Cute news for today.
Ooh, that's cute. Let us hear about it.
East Asian tick species arrives in New Jersey and it could carry a dangerous virus.
Oh, terrifying.
So the apparently, you know, we had ticks, but this East Asian tick is insane. Recently in North Carolina, it killed 3 cows by sucking out all of their blood.
What? Poor cows. Are we
Yeah.
sure it's not aliens mutilating them? That seems
Yeah.
more likely.
So what's cool about this tick is it doesn't need to have sex to procreate. It just clones itself.
Okay, that's actually just awesome.
So it just like, you're just like 1 tick, 2 ticks, 3 ticks. Like it just... yeah.
Oh, God, could you imagine if Timothy could do that? He didn't have to have sex, he could just clone himself. It's like, no!
Yeah, so they're real aggressive. So they'll just, if you run into them, they'll just cover you in ticks, and immediately I'll start sucking your blood, and I guess turning into more ticks.
Listeners, I want you to picture like the most unpleasant person that you know in your life, and now imagine that person could reproduce asexually, and so just every other day there's another one of them, and it's like, God damn it, Jane Fonda's. There's 5 of her now.
Well, what makes me mad is the anytime you read about like ticks and bugs, the advice they give you is so not helpful. They go, stay away from areas where ticks may be found. Literally everywhere in nature, they're like, stay out of the tall grass. I'm like, fuck you.
Stay out of the places where ticks are found. Where are they found? Where there's plants. Okay,
Yeah,
then.
literally everywhere, except hopefully inside your own house.
So what do I do if I get Lyme disease? Try to buy some lemons.
Get Lyme disease. Yeah, but so far they haven't carried any disease in the United States yet. But I'm less worried about them carrying disease and just worried about walking out in the woods one day and just looking down and go, "Hey, look at that! I'm covered in ticks." Well, this is when I kill myself.
I heard of the most wonderful story of someone walking through the woods once, and there were leeches all over the ground. There were so many leeches, and the leeches could feel the people walking by them, like feel their body heat. So he looked back, and there were just hundreds and hundreds of leeches behind him on the trail, like sticking their heads up, like how snakes would walk.
Yeah.
And they were just up like that, crawling after them.
Oh, that's well. At least leeches are like slow and kind of like, but like ticks, I don't know. Ticks are just so much
Yeah,
grosser.
ticks can fall on you. Leeches, you got to go into their ponds, their little pools of water, stagnant water.
I feel like I could kill leeches just by stop, dropping, and like rolling on something hard. You know.
Can you not do that with ticks?
I don't think so.
I guess I'm picturing them after they've been drinking.
I was gonna say you do that with ticks, you're just gonna get more ticks on you.
You're right. I wasn't thinking of They'll do the same thing with the leeches, though. If you stopped and started rolling, I told you all the leaches were on the ground, right? You'd get back
Yeah.
up with like 700 of them on you.
Yeah, but I feel like
I'm the leech man!
you could crush them. But yeah, I didn't realize that like you could be drunk dry by like ticks unless it was like a horror story, but apparently you can.
No, I've heard of that before with like... I mean, I've seen giraffes dropping dead from too many ticks on them. So, it can happen.
Yeah, I put it on Facebook, and then my comment on that was like, "Kill everything with fire."
Yes, may it all die with fire.
I guess the only place, really, they want to give you stupid advice on how to avoid ticks. Here's the only place you can stay safe from ticks: in the air.
Mm-mm. Ticks can't fly yet.
Yet, being the operative word.
For some reason, I picture if Wesley ever gained like mad scientist abilities, the first thing he would do is like splice ticks together with mosquitoes. So now you don't just have little mosquito bites everywhere; you have ticks everywhere. You're like, Wesley, why would you do that? He'd be like, oh, ha, it'll really piss Dylan off. Oh.
I think the first thing Wesley would do would be like, if mad scientist powers, he'd finally change human physiology so that like food from the dollar store was the healthy option, since he hates vegans so much.
I mean, I would be psyched about that, actually. I'd be totally down for that. I changed it so now I can get those little dollar bags of donuts, and I've lost so much weight.
I do like every time we talk to him about like eating high fiber and fruit and stuff. He's like, "It's going to give you diarrhea," and I'm like, "Only if you don't eat vegetables, and it's not diarrhea. It's actually your body doing what it's supposed to do."
All right, like getting all the stuff that's in you out, right? It's not just supposed to sit in you until you've completely absorbed it all, like it is a cow and you are a tick absorbing it from inside of yourself.
Yeah, well, that was like
it's supposed to run on through you.
That's like I read I think it was a book on like the Whole Foods diet, where you just eat stuff without cooking it.
Yeah.
And the first paragraph they go, "When you cook food, it sits inside your body and rots." And I'm like, not if your body's working right. If anything's sitting inside you and rotting or accumulating toxins and not constantly moving through your body, that's trouble.
Yeah. So it was to say nothing rots, but then I'm like, oh, except I know tons of people who just never shit because they sit around eating like cheese all the time and everything just stays in them for like 2 weeks.
It's still moving. It's just like a congested highway, but it's not sitting in there and rotting. It's just,
I actually had
up.
I had a girl one time open up about her bowels to me, and she was telling me, it's like, yeah, like I only poop like once a week, and I feel so bloated by near the end of the week because it gets so bad. And I'm like, how much vegetables do you eat? Please tell me it's more than 0. She's like, well, what do you eat? Pizza? Yeah, that's why. Stop it.
God damn. At least take fiber pills or something.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Like I was the thing I could tell her is like, oh, you got to eat plants. You got to eat plants and try to like not do the cheese. Unless you're just okay. If you're okay with living like that, then, all the power to you. But if you want to fix the problem, this is what you do.
Well, speaking of fixing problems, we're actually going to go in a little bit different direction here.
Hell yeah.
We've become popular enough that we actually have real listener mail today, and so instead of a Dear Abby, we've got 3 really good Dear Patties.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with the. I'm gonna start in order of like least to best. So least is this is a really good one, and I like this. Huh?
Let's put a patty on the Barbie.
I like this one. So this one is Dear Patty. This is a random question, but you see a woman who is morbidly obese dressing in clothing that is very revealing or seems too tight on her. She is viewed worse than if she were a woman who was not weight challenged as her. There is a bit of a debate between a few of us girls about how skinny girls can get away with dressing a certain way without looking too hoochie, but if you have more lumps or bumps, it would look too scandalous to dress like that. I understand that seems like a double standard, but there is some truth to it. Do you agree? Would like to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, as a guy, my own idea of self-image would definitely be different than, than people who identify as women. But so you got to realize that does color my opinion of
Right,
what I have to say.
guys like you and me, we can't get away with wearing shorts like other guys because our big old dongs just make us look scandalous.
It's terrible. It's terrible, and not to mention all the back pain we get from just the giant dong, like sort of weighing us down, holding us forward.
And people are just scandalized by our big old wieners just bursting out of our pants. So I can identify.
Yeah. So you know how
like how we didn't crack. We're just like, yep, our dongs are huge. Please listen to our podcast.
Okay, obviously we can't wear hot pants. It would pop right out. We can't even wear shorts. It would just be dangling down there. You know how Maggie Simpson wears those pajamas that drags behind her? They're twice as long as her legs.
Yeah.
We have to wear pants that are at least that long so that when our dongs are dragging behind us on the street, it doesn't pop out and offend anyone.
Well, it's a hard question because, number one,
Sorry, hard question got me.
I don't agree with body shaming, but I also do agree with body shaming. Is that a weird fence for me to sit on?
Well, you grew up in Southeast Georgia where the idea of shaming people is sort of weaved into the culture down here. People are always saying, no, it's got to be Christian values. You got to hide your shame from the devil.
I don't think if you're wearing revealing clothing and you're a bigger woman that it's more in my opinion, my personal opinion, I don't think it's more hoochie or more scandalous. I guess just people who are more shapely or more in shape, I guess it's just more accepted. You know what I mean? I would never.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely a societal standard, more so than anything else, right? People say, if you look a certain way, then it's okay to show off more skin than other times. Because the thing is that everyone has their own definition of their own idea of what someone who's beautiful is.
Yeah.
Take for example the poetry of Sir Mix-a-Lot when he said, "When a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, I get sprung." So, some people like a bit of junk in the trunk. Some people like a lot of junk in the trunk.
But I don't think it makes it more scandalous. But at the same time, I'm not very body confident. So, when I went to that yoga class and that super fit dude, that Mr. Yoga, pops his shirt off, I'm going to do yoga shirtless. I wouldn't do that because, as she says, I've got some lumps and bumps that I'm not exactly comfortable with being like, hey, everybody, look at my fat old body. But I don't know. At the same time, fucking do you, when I got the massage, dress to your level of comfort. Fuck everyone else.
All right, going all the way back to the first thing we said, it's whenever you walk in there, they're like, sir, feel free to undress to your level of comfort. And you're like, okay, I need a bigger hat.
And if someone gives you shit because you're dressing too scandalous for your size, just do the old thing why you looking? You see something you want?
That's the other thing I've always thought was weird, that some people, which I think is just guys maybe, can see women walking down the street and, in scantily clad clothing and just instantly start to have sexual fantasies about them on the spot. Am I the weird one here for thinking that it's weird that people do that?
I think so. I don't know. Maybe not. There was, this is going to make me sound terrible, but there was a woman that I worked with years ago.
That you were fantasizing about every time you saw her.
She came in and she had some leather pants on, and these leather pants were getting it. And I just I was bartending, and I was just like I didn't say anything to her, and I wasn't like, hey. I just remember I was like, man, that is a terrific ass. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the person, but I I generally am not like stalking people down the street like, hey, your shirt's real tight. Mm-hmm.
Which, sadly, I'm pretty sure some guys do.
I don't know, man. Fucking dress to your level of comfort. All right.
Dress to your
Uh,
level of comfort.
Dear Patty number 2. This question is, how does it work for gifts? In particular, these two women were best friends and they were very close. One of them got married and was given a very elaborate, expensive gift for their wedding. The bride asked her to be a bridesmaid and she agreed. Shortly after the wedding, she got divorced 2 weeks after the wedding and never returned the gifts or sent thank you notes. This was around the same time they fell out of touch. Now, a few months later, they're not as close as they used to be, and the other friend is getting married, but the divorced friend doesn't feel like she should get her a gift as elaborate or expensive since they're no longer best friends, especially since she wasn't asked to be a bridesmaid, which makes her all the more reason not to splurge. Any advice? Fuck woman number 1. You didn't even send out thank you notes?
Yeah. So a few things here. First of all, I didn't realize. Oh, she wasn't asked to be a bridesmaid, but regardless of that,
Probably because you didn't write thank you notes, you fucking dick.
that could be it, right? Like, you got her a super expensive gift, and she didn't even say thanks. So it's like, all right, okay, then I guess I see. Is the gift the reason why they fell out, or did they just fall out for other reasons? I'm assuming for other reasons, and it had nothing to do with the gift. Just that was caught
No,
up
I
in
think
the whole.
yeah, I think they just fell out for other reasons. And
But
then the gift is just, but yeah, it's just part of like the wedding, the whole wedding
yeah,
spiel is like, someone gets you a gift, you write them a thank you note. If the you got divorced 2 weeks after the wedding, send the gifts back at least. Jesus.
yeah. So whenever you buy someone a wedding gift, it's definitely a gamble here, right? Because I mean, 50% of weddings end in divorce and all that. So you know that you're at a low odds craps table. But she didn't do it for that. She didn't do it for that. She did it for her friend, and this ended up being a sunk cost. That sucks, but the point I'm getting to here is that I think her friend should do it real big for old times' sake. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at. I
Also,
think she used to be a really good friend in the past. Do it for that friend. Do it for
yeah,
the friend that got you a good gift. Don't worry
it's
about
not
where things are now.
it's not a government contract. You're not buying wedding gifts in exchange for being a bridesmaid.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, if you got me a birthday gift and then I died, I would have no problem with you getting the gift back. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, Pat got Pete a birthday gift, and 2 weeks later he died. Does Pat get that birthday gift back? Yeah, he's not gonna have any more birthdays.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think the chick that got a divorce is being an asshole, and it's just like, you were in the wrong because like you didn't even send a thank you note. That's just like stock and standard. Or do a big like group thank you to every. I've seen people do like, it was a lot of work to send everybody an individual thank you. So I'll put this thing up on social media. Thank you all. You know what I mean? Or some kind of
Yeah.
like thanks for the thank you. Yeah, fucking asshole.
Yep. So I guess we're in agreement there.
Yeah. So now this next one and last one I read and I was like, oh my god. So, dear Patty, a friend is in a relationship with a girl whose family does not approve of him. We've all been there. They've been together for a few years, and her family is still adamant that the relationship will not last and refuses to support her choice in him. I personally love it when someone's like, that relationship's not going to last, and then, like, they're celebrating
Years
their,
later.
10-year anniversary, and you're like, you know what, I'm probably going to have to eat those words, because it's been a decade, they're still going strong.
You just wait 40, 50, 60 years, one of them's going to be dead, and I'll be like, I was right. It didn't last. Well, I mean, everything's eventual.
I had some friends who were in a relationship like that, and we are all like, this is a terrible relationship. It's not going to last. Yeah, we are all broken up and single now, and they're still together. So, like, who was right? So this is where it gets dark. Recently, he mentioned trying to get her pregnant in order to force her family to allow him to marry her. And by that he means poking holes in condoms or just getting the ones that break very easily. Are there condoms on the market where they're like, yeah, these break real easily? You want,
I mean, I'm trying to think of a good pun here, but I don't know. This just really seems like a con don't to me, all right?
Yeah, well, I'm like thinking maybe if he's the kind of guy that pokes holes in condoms to get her pregnant so she'll stay with him, maybe the family's got a point.
Yeah, that's actually what I have written down. I started writing a response to this before I finished reading it, so
Yeah.
like the tone of my response changes halfway through.
So of course I advised against the idea. However, I'm afraid if I were to bring this up with his girlfriend, they might break up. Am I responsible for letting her know just to make sure she watches out?
Yes.
Extra birth control. I don't think extra birth control is a thing, but okay. As a fellow woman, or should I just trust that he'll end up making the right decision? Well, he's already making the wrong decision. No, you should let her know immediately because it's not fair. Like that's insane.
Yeah, yeah. What I was thinking is like one of the most eloquent ways to handle this is just to go ahead and pretend like you think he's joking about that, right? Because it's possible he might be joking. So what you do is you pretend like you're certain that he's joking in front of her when he's there too. That way everything's out in the open, and you can be like, yeah, remember whenever you said, oh, I'll poke a hole in the condom or swap her birth control for Tic Tacs or whatever just to get her pregnant, so we'll have to get married. That's so funny. Hey, maybe you should watch your condoms more carefully. Wink, wink. Ha ha ha. But seriously, watch your condoms.
Or I mean, if you're worried about getting involved, write her an anonymous letter and being like, "I'm one of your friends. I don't want to tell you who I am, but your boyfriend's poking holes in condoms. He's trying to get you. He's trying to get you babied up so that you'll have to marry." You're like, that's a horrible thing, man.
Yeah, because I mean, that's definitely a consent issue. Same way you have to have consent to have sex in the first place, you also need consent to get someone pregnant. But anyway, the first part of this, before I'd read the second half of the thing, was as long as the family refuses to support the relationship, it's never going to end because the couple's definitely going to dig their heels in and force it to work. If the family is convinced that it can't work, then what they need to do right now is fully embrace it. If it can't work,
Yeah,
it will fall
exactly.
apart immediately.
Yeah, get super close to him. But also, it's only going to make the tension worse if he's like, she got my baby now. Because it seems like this is a real traditional family. And if they're the kind of people that are like, I don't want you seeing my daughter, they're going to be super upset when you get their daughter knocked up out of wedlock.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, god damn. I hate condom hole pokers, man. That's so awful. My advice would be to put a condom over his head and like slowly strangle him with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
Jesus.
That's an option.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll poke a hole in it eventually. I'm joking. Good.
Or maybe feed him chemical castration pills so that he's like, I don't know why. She's just not getting pregnant. And my balls are falling off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my thing. Is like, fucking tell her she needs to leave him, like, or at the very least needs to have a conversation with him about like, and the family about family approval, because that's not the way to do it.
I mean, I won't speak to if they, because it is entirely possible he was joking about that, right? But he just did like a joke in poor taste. But if he's completely serious, then.
Yeah, well, that's not really a joke that you want to.
Well, I'm assuming that they're close friends, so maybe they would say something like that. But at the same time, I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know, man. That's a weird thing to joke about. It's kind of like,
It is weird, but I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But
I don't. Not when they're trying to make me have their baby.
That's true. I guess if he was trying to he was trying to get you pregnant.
I got another
that would be
fun
even
news
more
story
weird.
for you if you want to pivot.
Yes.
So, a Ohio police officer in full uniform walks into an IRS office, right?
Right.
And I can't state this enough. You can watch the video. He walks in because he needs to do some paperwork. He's an on-duty police officer. And I guess the security guy goes, "You need to leave your gun in your car." And the cop goes, "Yeah, no, I'm a police officer. We don't do that. Also, we can't do that." Yeah, so... And then the security guy...
I'm still on the cop side here.
Yeah, so then the security guard pulls a gun on the cop as he's leaving. And while that's happening...
Leaving?
Yeah. He's got a gun pointed at the cop, and the cop was like,
That's against the law.
Yes.
To point a gun at a cop. That's very illegal.
The cop was like, I tried to de-escalate because the cop was worried about other civilians in the office if there was a shootout. So he's like, I was walking away, tensing up, getting ready to get shot. And as he's leaving, the security guy tries to take him into custody. The cop in question was black, and the security guy was a white guy that looked like he had been living in his basement the whole time. Um, but the cop did, and this is so weird because we have so many stories on here about fucked up cops, but the cop did everything right. He like de-escalated, like got out of the building, and then like somebody called the cops while this was happening on the cop and goes, "There's a man in here with a gun and he won't leave."
Oh my god.
But they didn't tell the cops that the man with the gun was also a cop. And it's the one time I've ever wanted to go, you know what? I'm glad the cop did the right thing, but also I would have been okay with all the cops showing up and just filling this dude full of bullets.
So he was arrested for pulling a gun on a police officer, right?
Yeah, he's going to jail.
Good.
And the security company's getting sued. But it's just insane. Like, what? Because what would possess you to be like, I know he's a cop, but he's also black. I'm gonna pull a gun on him. I think I can get. I
don't know what to do. He has authority, but he's black and he has a gun.
I've seen people get tased in the balls for less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'd have taken that guy out, and we'd have gone on a little round the city trip. I would have pepper sprayed that dude in the butthole. Like I'd used every bit of non-lethal force I had while that guy was on the way to the station. They go, "What happened to him?" Be like, "Oh, he resisted."
Yeah. That's such a crazy story.
Yeah, I'm glad the cops okay and everybody's been like, oh my god, dude, like, this is why I don't respect fake cops.
Yeah, like mall cops and all that.
Yeah, I'm just like
going around on their little scooters.
Because I mean, like, if the cops grab me, I'm probably not gonna fight the cops. But if a fucking Paul Blart fucking jumps on me, buddy, we're gonna go at it. Like, I don't care what you have. You may have a gun, but you don't have the authority to use it, bitch.
They probably don't have a gun.
Well,
Most likely they would have. This one might have, but...
Also, I thought all the security people were supposed to just have walkie-talkies so they could just call for help a little quicker.
Yeah, that's... I mean, what did Paul Blart have? Did he even have a nightstick or pepper spray?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
No, I don't think he had any of that, but yeah, this Paul Blart looking motherfucker. I hope they fucking... Oh my god. Oh, how do people like that not get shot? That's what I don't understand. You've seen a lot of people...
He nearly did.
Well, the cop didn't pull his gun on him. The cop walked away calmly,
If it was not as good of cop as that, he might have been shot.
Well, the cop is also, turns out he's a trainer in, like, de-escalation techniques and stuff.
Oh, good. So he knew what to do, and he was able to put his skills into practice. That's always good to see.
Yeah, clearly he's knew what's up. So we salute this guy for doing what all cops should do and de-escalate, but the part of me deep in my gut was like, shoot him in his face!
So speaking of stupid white people being racist, do you want to get into the big news story of the week?
Is this about the president? Because I was going to say, like, maybe we just don't even talk about this guy.
I mean, it's one of the biggest news story there is. Okay, let's talk about Kellyanne Conway instead.
We'll talk about it. Yeah, so the president, do you have the exact tweet pulled up?
I can pull them up, but I can tell you, essentially, he told a bunch of black people to go back to Africa, and now all the people that support him are trying to explain how go back to Africa is not a racist statement, which is really funny. The people he said it to was our favorite, the Notorious AOC, and also Talib Presley and Ilhan Omar. And 3 of the 4 were born in America, so go back to your home country. They're in their home country. But funny enough, my favorite part is that he's like, and they all come from nations that are falling apart. They have the worst type of government. It's barely even functioning. I'm like, you accidentally told the truth, because America does have a government that's barely even functioning because your stupid ass is in charge. And he's all like, why are they trying to tell us how to run our government? They're in Congress. That's their job. Also, he was referring to 3 women, and he called them congressmen. So that was also a weird bit of sexism to go along with it all.
Well, is the new word congresspersons now? Is that what we use? Congress people? Congress lady?
I guess. A member of Congress.
I don't know. I'm not woke, man.
They're, well, I mean, I would call them, like, senators and whatever. But still,
I don't know what you call a congressman, but I always call them crooks.
So it's just absolutely reprehensible statements on his part. And then the deplorables and Fox News and Kellyanne Conway all have to come out and explain how telling people to go back to Africa is not racist. I'm like, are you serious? Like, that is the purest essence of what is race. That's like not even a dog whistle. That's just, I mean, that's a step away from just saying, I wish all these N-words would get out of here. And it's like, are you even serious right now, Trump? I don't know. It's insane to me that there is a debate over whether this is racist or not.
It doesn't seem insane to me because we live in an upside down world. I do like George Takei's response to it when he says, "One of the things many minorities hear more than a few times in their lives is go back where you came from." I always responded, "What? Los Angeles?"
That's good.
Like, yeah, you get him, George Takei. Yeah, he's an idiot. But like we talked about, this is a big distraction thing because it's like children. You know how children act out and you go, "What's really going on, Johnny?" And Johnny's like, "My parents are getting divorced. That's why I screamed the N-word at lunch." Yeah. So you can always look at what's going on in the president's life is like why he's tweeting weird racist stuff. And it's because one of his big buddies, was it Jerry Epstein?
Yeah, Epstein. He's been in the news for like a month now, something like that.
Yeah,
maybe it's just been a week. Time's weird.
Super wealthy, connected hedge fund manager, rich guy all around, who was convicted of like running a pedophile ring and like sex trafficking underage girls. He was arrested for it, but then all the rich guys and what was his name? Was it Acosta? The guy that was until the guy that was until recently Trump's head of
Labor Secretary. Secretary of the United States, a major position gifted to him by Trump.
Yeah. They basically gave this dude a sweetheart deal, and then they also gave him work release so he could leave the prison every day and go to his office. And then they didn't tell the victims the sentence this guy had gotten as part of the plea deal, which turns out to be illegal. Well, now Epstein's in it again, and now the guest list of all the people that like visited Epstein and flew to his place on his private plane and stuff is crazy. Like Trump was involved. Apparently, Bill Clinton was a big friend of Epstein. So, fucking, there might be ties to Clinton. Like, there's no way this guy will actually serve serious jail time, even though he's running a pedophile ring, because he's rich and connected.
Yep. I like how you went into the monarch at the end.
America! Yeah.
Dial in for America! Actually, that's sort of like Giuliani. I miss Giuliani. Why isn't he in the news anymore?
Predator. Because he's a
and then S for Skeletor
plant, I guess.
Came out and who? Skeletor?
But yeah, so we're arguing about that. Well, meanwhile, the stuff's out with Epstein, and then what's his name? Mueller is going to testify soon again. Why? I don't know. He doesn't. Mueller has failed us utterly.
Well, I know why they want him to testify is because they want to make sure that people understand just how damning the Mueller report is. If the public isn't demanding Congress do their jobs, not enough members of Congress will try and do their jobs. Only the most upstanding members of Congress right now have read the Mueller report, understand it, and know that Trump needs to be impeached for 10 different counts of obstruction of justice. Clear-cut cases of obstruction of justice. That is what Mueller found. These are impeachable offenses. However, because Happy Frog Bob Barr came forward 2 weeks before the rest of the report came out and set the narrative that, or totally exonerated him, because he was able to set that narrative, far too many people tuned out. So when the actual Mueller report came out, they're like, it just exonerated him anyway. Why should I bother reading it? And so now the American people are not demanding his impeachment.
I guess I'm getting like just what do you call it? Just outrage fatigue, where it's just it's exhausting. And I did like what somebody I was having a political debate with the other day said. They said like, America deserves Trump, and I go, we do, we honestly do.
I don't know if
the whole thing is terrible, but I'm like, I can't say we don't deserve this as a country.
It's right after he was elected, I'm trying to remember who said it. It was, I know it was like a black comedian, and he was sitting in a plane with Penn Jillette, and Penn was saying, this is, how bad this all is, and the guy was like, I knew that this was going to happen because this has been happening for my entire life. I've always seen people like him get appointed to positions of power. The only difference now is that white people are also seeing what's going on. For once, they're actually seeing someone that's this bad succeeding and coming forward, and that's
So I gotta.
that really is just something that's always been part of the American underbelly, and now it's just naked for the world to see. It's more obvious than usual.
I got a fun deviation from this for you for a minute. I want to play a little what if game. So everybody, what is it? 2 million people are supposed to storm Area 51 in September.
It's like 1.5 million have signed up on Facebook so far.
Well, we all know that when you have people sign up on Facebook, probably 2 of those are going to show up. But our friend Wesley did send us a really fun meme about Area 51, and I wanted to play this game and discuss it for a second.
Okay, I hadn't seen whatever it is you're talking about, so this will be new to me.
So the meme says, you're in Area 51 and you see these lying on the floor. What are you taking? One is the Infinity Gauntlet. One is the notebook from Death Note. One is all the Dragon Balls. And I honestly don't actually know what the other thing is in the photo.
Shoot, let me go find the Wesley picture and see if I can tell you. Of those things,
So
it really depends on which version of the Infinity Gauntlet it is.
Okay, so explain. All right, so you're in Area 51. You see these very powerful items. So if you don't know, if you've been under a rock, the Infinity Gauntlet is a gauntlet with 5 stones that basically allow you to control like time, matter, all this stuff. You can basically do anything. The Death Notebook is a notebook you write anybody's name in, and death comes and takes them. The Dragon Balls, once you've assembled all the Dragon Balls, you get 1 wish. But what are the limitations on the Dragon Balls, Pat?
It's well, it depends on what point in the timeline you make a wish on them. Right now, you can make 2 wishes on them, but you can't bring back anyone that's died before, or basically you can't have the same wish granted twice, basically. And that's about it. But also, you can't wish for anything that exceeds the dragon's power, and that's why you can't just wish like major villains dead, because the dragon can't kill anyone after like Piccolo and on.
And then what is the other thing that I didn't recognize because I'm old, do?
It's Ben 10's wristband. He uses that to transform into one of 10 different aliens at the start of the show, and then later on there's a lot more aliens that get added to it. But it has the DNA of different aliens that have been captured over the years.
So I think out of all these, I would take the Dragon Balls, because I know I'm not strong enough to wield the Infinity Gauntlet. The Death Notebook just seems mean, and why the fuck would I want to become an alien?
Well, I mean, you can turn back to yourself. There's this one alien that, if this version of the thing has this alien, you can turn into this thing that can exist like almost outside of time and space and can do anything. Sort of like a Superman. You can fly across the universe in an instant. You can control matter. You can do whatever you want. Now, if it doesn't have that aliens, then you can turn into like a fire monster at best. So it just depends. Speaking of it depends, the Infinity Gauntlet works differently depending on which version of the Infinity Gauntlet it is. Only like the cinematic one will kill you if you use it. Most of the ones in the comics you can just use. They're plug and play. So you're going with, you said you're going with the Dragon Balls?
Yeah, just because if we don't know which version of the Infinity Gauntlet it is, I don't want to be like, I finally have my wishes, and then it kills me. So I would definitely take the Dragon Balls and make a wish, make some wishes.
And Death Note is just sort of obnoxious because you got to know what the person looks like. You have to know how to spell their name correctly. So let's say someone decides to kill you and they just misspell Griffin or something, then that's not going to work. G-Y-R?
Yeah.
Nope. Damn it!
Well, I think I would use the Dragon Balls. So the one thing I've always wanted to wish for is I've always wanted to wish for immortality with a get out of jail clause.
Oh, so you can die whenever you want, but otherwise you're immortal.
Right, because we talked about it before about if you were immortal and you fell into like one of those crevasses up in like the Arctic, you'd just be stuck there for centuries until the ice shifted or melted and you could get out.
Yeah. Like you would just be stuck. People don't realize how many places on Earth are just like sheer cliffs where you just sort of get wedged a mile underground if you fall into it. Those things exist.
I
And
guess I
they
would.
really an immortal will eventually wander their way into it unless you just stay in one spot. But even then, how long till an earthquake opens up a fissure under you?
I guess I would just wish, just to make sure I got the wish right. I would wish for Deadpool's healing factor with some like adjustments. You know.
Hmm. Deadpool is the. I'm trying to remember. I think he's one of the few characters that could survive the end of a Marvel Cinematic Universe, or maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Very few people can survive the end of a cinematic universe. I think like Adam Warlock is the only one. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember if
So
Deadpool's ever survived the end of the universe before.
because I'm always remembering like when people wish for stuff in like the monkey's paw and everything, and they wish for it, but then it's like more terrible than they could imagine.
Yes. Oh my God. The be careful what you wish for pause. Now the Dragon Balls,
Yeah.
the advantage to them is that they've never like fucked people over like that. They actually, I guess the dragon is somewhat of a mind reader, so he does know what you're talking about. That's something I always remembered from Goosebumps. This one lady that's can grant wishes. Whenever the girl makes a wish, she's like, "Well, I'm not a mind reader. I didn't know what you wanted. This is what I thought you wanted."
That's why I'd use a comic book template. There's a really great episode of The Twilight Zone where this guy meets the devil. He gets immortality with a get out of jail free card, you know, like a I can die when I do this card. Um, and so his whole plan, he's immortal. He pushes his wife off a roof, admits to it to the cops because he wants to go to the electric chair to show off. So he's in jail,
Yeah.
and his lawyer goes, "Oh, at the last minute, I got your sentence changed from the electric chair to life in prison."
You son of a bitch.
And then
You can
and then he's
overturn
like,
that. You can say
"No."
this guy's not my lawyer. But I mean,
Well,
you
I would
do.
be
I mean, in
like,
real life, life in prison's not life. It's like 30 years. So that
also,
would suck.
listen, if you're
But you're
immortal, you
immortal,
can
so
live there until the fucking prison falls apart.
that too.
You know what I mean?
That's what I did. That's what I did with Circle K. I worked there until the building collapsed.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. So then he immediately pulled the chute and like told the devil he wanted to do the death thing and die because he didn't want to spend life in prison. I'm like, I would
What?
spend my time, especially if I was immortal. Imagine what you could do. You could just run the fence and the guards are just pumping bullets into you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like, what? How are they going to stop you from trying to escape? Oh God, I guess the worst thing that could happen is they put you in the hole. But whatever. I'll do time in the hole,
Yeah.
then I'll get more clever about it.
If I'm immortal, I'm just gonna throw myself. I'm just gonna punch the door for years until it like is destroyed. Like, because if you've got time on
Yeah.
your side, you'll be like water. You can just
Uh,
get you. It would suck, but you could just fucking get out of anything.
like that one Doctor Who episode, which is, I think, like one of the only ones I really, really liked from the last Doctor, the old Scotsman Doctor.
Yeah.
He I don't know if you saw the one where he's imprisoned behind a sheet of like I want to say it's 20, 30 feet long, like super diamond that's 20 times harder than regular diamond.
Yeah. I remember.
Have you seen
I
that
remember you
episode?
telling me about it. But continue. No, I haven't.
Yeah.
But
So
continue. Tell us the story.
uh, he's stuck in an endless loop, and you don't figure this out till near the end of the episode because then the loop speeds up. But he's trapped in a place where something is following him and trying to kill him, and a device is set up, somehow charged with just enough of his energy from when he died to be able to recreate him in a cloning machine. So the clone wakes up, he sees like the dust, he eventually falls in the water outside and sees just the entire ocean is full of skeletons. Just there's no floor to this ocean anymore. It's all skeletons. And eventually, he gets out, he goes around, and finally he finds his TARDIS behind the 30 feet wall of diamond, and there's just the tiniest little indent in the side of the diamond, and that's when it occurs to him what's been happening here, and he's like, oh, and so he punches it as hard as he can, 3, 4, 5 times, and then the thing that's been chasing him catches him and touches him, so that means he instantly, he's going to die in like a second, but right before he dies, he's able to put his regeneration power into the machine. It clones him, and he repeats the loop over and over and over again. And billions of years pass, and he's finally able to punch all the way through the diamond after just throwing himself at it hundreds of billions of times. Just a few punches at a wall of 10 times reinforced diamond over billions of years, and he's finally able to punch all the way through it, gets to his TARDIS, and time travels out of there. But is that
That's what it
still
feels
the
like for
same
me trying to
Doctor?
lose. I mean, that's the whole ship of Theseus thing.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
if you have all the memories and what do you call it? Yeah, you're still the same. Yeah,
Hmm.
you're still the same guy, I think.
Uh, Even though somewhere out there is an ocean with like a trillion dead doctors in it. Because that's the
I
guy
think
that's
I would
chasing
use
him
all
to kill
my.
him just sort of throws the bones out there when he's done.
Yeah, I think I would take all those bones, just make a bunch of super weapons, and then use that to, you know, fight off whatever's attacking me. Or I'd make a ladder out of my bones and climb over the wall.
Oh, he's trapped. It's like a pocket dimension. There's no out of it without the TARDIS.
Gotcha. But yeah, so that's what it feels like for me trying to lose weight. Is like I'm punching a wall of super hard diamond, and then snack cakes catch up with me, and then have to try it all over again.
Oh my God, you're right. That is what this has been like, hasn't it? Yeah, for both of us, we keep trying
Yep.
to diet, and right now I have found something that somewhat works. So we tried the potato diet. We told you listeners about that, where we just eat potatoes for 2 weeks, and it's supposed to reset our taste buds so that we can enjoy eating healthier. Well, I'm just
Yeah.
skipping that bit and going straight to eating healthier because a variety of food is so much better than just eating fucking potatoes for 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
so
I'd
far, it's
rather.
working.
Yeah, I'm still in vacation mode. The healthiest thing I've done has been going to yoga. So
That's something,
yeah, that is
I
something.
guess.
Well, do we have any other news that we want to cover in this episode?
Uh, we never discussed what we would really do with those. So you're in Area 51 and you find that stuff laying on the floor. We just.
Oh yeah, I'd take the Dragon Balls and I'd wish for immortality with a get out clause. You know.
Okay. I would just go
I'm
for the
sorry,
Ben 10
I wouldn't wish for
bracelet, I
immortality.
think.
I
Good.
wouldn't wish for immortality. I would wish for Deadpool regenerative like powers. Because immortality, like what do you think life's like if you can live forever but you just continue to age catastrophically? That would suck.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, I mean,
So that's what I would do.
yeah, that works. Cause Deadpool doesn't really age. As long as you don't like have cancer, you shouldn't become a topographical map of Ohio or whatever like he is.
I mean,
And
even with that price to pay, I would still do that. Even if they were like, well, you got to look like Deadpool, I'd be like, all right, fine.
Yeah, I'll just put on a bit less clothes than I already wear going to get a massage and good to go. So
I mean, it's
yeah,
not
so
like I'm really
the
reeling in the ladies right now with a normal face. So
the what sucks about the Death Note is that it doesn't do anything besides kill people, right? Like there's no fun things you can
yeah,
do with it. And also, if you ever use the
right.
Death Note, you don't get an afterlife, right? You don't go to heaven or hell. You just cease to exist when you die. So that's terrifying. So
That's,
let's go with the Ben 10 bracelet. I'll try.
you go to
I'll
the
get
Ben 10
that, and I'll
bracelet.
try to. I'm gonna try to unlock that one super alien that can exist outside of time, and then I don't have to worry about falling in a crevasse. And if I
Well,
can't find that one, then at least
enjoy your
things
super.
can be cool.
Well, I
We're
mean,
we're
I'll try to
lagging
stay out
again,
of
so
crevasses, but I figure if you're Pat, you still there?
yeah. You said you
Pat, did I
figure
lose you, buddy?
if you and then oh, this lag is for real.
For
Can you hear me?
real. Well, you want to go ahead and wrap it there with that.
Yeah, before this thing, let me see if there's anything else in the notes. The ice raids have begun, but so far we just haven't seen that much evidence of them happening. We know that they started on
Yeah,
last Sunday, so
because
people are
they announced
getting arrested by
that
the secret
they
police.
yeah, well, they announced that they were going to do it, and I'm like, everyone's going to go away. Like, you guys are so dumb. But it's a distraction tactic. That's all it is.
Update on Roger Stone. He is in breach of his gag order again, and this time they banned him from all social media. He can't post at all. But, what the fuck are they going to do if he does that? Further slap him on the wrist? Put this ass in jail! Why isn't he in jail yet? He has breached his gag
Because
order
he's
3
rich.
times now.
Because he's rich and connected, and when you're rich, you don't do jail time, buddy. It's the American way.
And Alex Acosta, the guy that got the pedo enabler, Alex Acosta, has resigned as labor secretary. So, but again, that's something that I'm always going on about, is that people never get punished unless they choose to get punished. If he just stuck
Right.
it out and didn't choose to punish himself by stepping down, nothing would have ever happened to him.
Exactly. It like yeah, because we're in a weird. Just all you have to do is double down world, and then nothing will happen to you. Yeah. So, all we're saying is, if you want to put us on your campaign, we promise that we'll, no matter what deplorable things that we do, we'll never voluntarily quit.
Yar. Oh, and also, Mike Pence went to check out the concentration camps. And, I mean, Hitler manufactured fake concentration camps to show the press, you know? Fun fact. And now, basically, the same thing happened when Pence went and he spoke to children. He's all like, have they been treating you well? And they're like, see? He's like, yeah, see, okay. It's like, you're fucking... Look, and what's bad is that they have footage of him walking along cages that look absolutely... it's disgusting conditions, people crammed into cages, and this is what they want you to see. This is what they're letting get filmed. You can only imagine what else there is.
Well, weren't people screaming at him like, "We want a shower," and he's like, "Oh mother, it's my fantasy. Men are screaming, we want a shower at me."
I mean, it's so grotesque, and like. Jesus Christ, I don't even know what to say. And then for some reason Lindsey Graham is like, I don't care if they're locked up for 400 years! Because he's a monster also.
I'm pretty sure that Putin has his hand all the way up Lindsey Graham's ass and is just working him like a puppet at this point.
Yeah. Okay, but that's everything I have. Let's wrap this up before the internet goes out again.
Well, Pat, hit him with the socials.
Head with the socials, Pat. All right, so we are at Those Muckrakers on Twitter. We're thosemuckrakers@gmail.com if you'd like to send us your stories and have us read them and give you life advice, which you should follow to the letter, even if you think it's a bad idea. Don't actually do that. In fact, you should probably best ignore us.
I'm gonna throw the gauntlet down and say, I want to see someone write in with a problem that's worse than that one we read where the dude was like, I met my fiance's dad and it turns out we hooked up when I was in my bi phase. I want to read something juicier and better than that. So the gauntlet's been thrown. Give me something to read.
Even more salacious. And if you want to be an honorary Muckraker of the week, I will name you as such if you send us the Dragonballs.
Yeah, please send us not a picture of your balls, but the actual Dragon Balls from the show.
That would be wonderful because we have wishes to make.
We have so many wishes to make. Well, that's all for this week. I'm Pete.
And I'm Pat.
Wishing you a happy week. Damn it, did I just waste my wish?
I wish you a good day.
Damn it.
Son of a bitch! Well... No, it's supposed to be at Clarence's house!
That would be a great ending for the Dragon Ball series when he was just like, the Dragon Balls were in Clarence's house and Billy's house, and now I have ultimate power. You're all gonna pay.